And for the third and deciding game in this group stage game, we have Kilimanjaro for Tiger. He's picking Indians for this one against Axel with the Khmer here. So this should be interesting. Khmer with both potential for elephants or knights or whatnot here. Could go for that, but would all be weak to the Indian camels as the game goes on and Imperial Age might kick in. Kilimanjaro is hard to full wall. It can be done, of course. And if you do, you will. If you don't, and you are Khmer, you could still hide inside the houses, causing idle time, but would save villagers' lives temporarily. See both players pushing in zebras here. That's because you have berries. But you have only one elephant. But I believe you have at least 3 or 4 zebras, so you could get some food income that way. You have this starting 8 sheep as well, but overall, a little bit too little food unless you mill or push in the zebras to get to the village comfortably. You see the woodlands are scarce as well. That's part of this map to fight for the control in the middle where there are woodlands and a little bit of natural resources. So should be interesting to see how this plays out for them. We're going to fast forward again to catch up with live game time here. See Tiger going for 3 on wood to begin with, pushing in zebras as well. Both Indians and Khmer likely to go for scouts openings. Khmer have other options, they all have other options. Tiger could go for rushes or man-at-arms or whatnot, but given the current economy setup, I think it's going to be scouts for Tiger for this one. Making good use of the pond here as well. Shorefish is quickly gathered, and you have a good mill spot here on the shorefish with the 400 food total to be taken, as opposed to the slightly above 600 food from the berries here. Tiger going first to the village here is going with whooping 17 population up within this here. Indians have cheaper scouts after all, not scouts, cheaper villagers after all, so they could afford scouts and uptime more easily. 17 still feels a bit ballsy here. It did go loom, so he didn't save that extra time there going up, but he's definitely going to reach the village now well under the 9-minute mark. Axel, on the other hand, not stressing the walling here, is going with 7 on wood here. That might or might not plug the gaps here. I think there's an opening behind the woodlands there as well. Not too easy to spot that in the middle of the heat. He's going up at 19 pop as well. Does have loom. So it's going to roughly 30% behind, but will arguably have a stronger eco to back his forward. Tiger missing only 2 wood to drop the stables, which is going to drop any moment now. Axel is on point, has the scout here even to attack the villagers building and delay the stables just a little bit here. Tiger definitely being the first to drop the stables here. Axel going straight for the stables. That could be hurtful. With Khmer, you don't need the barracks to drop the stables, but if you don't have the barracks, you won't have the option of a spearman at home. So Axel will be forced to quick wall his eco or rely a lot on being able to outproduce his enemy's army here. Otherwise, he is going to struggle to defend against this with his greedy Khmer straight stable play. Tiger, on the other hand, already has the barracks, so he's taking spearmen as well, or producing spearmen as well, to make sure he can defend against what he knows is going to come from Axel. When you see an uptime before 10 minutes, it could usually be indicative of opening with scouts. Especially with cavalry units like Indians and arguably also Khmer. Tiger now with 4 military total, so he did get a quick boost to his production by going up this early and able to drop the buildings in time. Now 2 scouts going forward, probably just as much to gather intel here as to anything else. Tries to avoid the TC, and also of course the TC is here, now looking for places to hit. It's going to hit the wood line. Tough to quick call in these cramped spaces as well, so these scouts might very well get a pick off here in the end. Tries for a block here, deals damage to the lines, not too easy to remove here, and hops into the houses. But notice the idle counter here for Axel is with 8 idols total now, puts them back, doesn't lose any, takes a little bit of damage, but overall still a lot of idle time cost as Tiger tries his scout micro here, will then take out one. Might lose one as well, but he has a spear in the mix here as well, poking away at the stables, just as if to taunt and tell it, you know, I know you don't have spearmen of your own, I'll just take that. The more idle time Tiger forces on his opponent, the more time he buys for himself to get to the next stage. He even risks running right under a TC here, not thinking that Axel will garrison, but he does, and he even manages some sort of block here. That's a free kill for Axel right there. Tiger still with 3 scouts and a spear in Axel's base though, so he's going to still cause idle time here and try his best to deal some damage as well. Both players spending resources. Axel probably going to drop some army building again soon, going maybe into the range as he's going to go with 5 on gold now. Could also be trying to set up for the quick carry cast stage here against Tiger and try to invest as little as possible into army here. He will struggle against Spearman though, because he only has a stable of his own, so his only means to beat Spearmen are with his own scouts, and Tiger keeps a consistent flow of units here. He commits to Feudal Age army here, now with 3 scouts, 1 more in production, and here is 1 as well. 6 military against 2 for Tiger at the moment, as the archery range goes up for Axel. So it's not at all going to go into Spearmen here, it's going to go for the archery range. Probably drop a blacksmith as well, get fletching as soon as he can so that he will have a better chance against the scouts, or just wait for the numbers. Here it's with 5 on wood, 4 on gold, but wood gets obstructed again. Gold is still up for grabs with some idols over here. Tiger now getting wheelbarrows, so that means that he is probably as happy with his number of farms and is setting up for the next age here. Has not gone to gold yet, doesn't really need to stress it either, because he knows he's not going to run into spearmen on this side. My scouts are going to be fought back by villager and cost idle time. Three scouts against 4 scouts here now. There's still a spear of Tiger though. Archers of Axel trying to sneak forward. Axel also committing to a Feudal Age army here. So none of them are going to go for the cast age just yet. Axel actually closer eco-wise just right now. 7 against 4 in the military count now, as Axel is going for the scouts and archers approach here. Tiger responds with a range of his own, going for the skirmishers, but with the scouts alive here for Axel the Great, he shouldn't have any trouble dealing with skirmishers together with his archers. Gets to enter here. Tiger has 1 on goal, that's going to be chased away, so that's going to slow Tiger's progress towards the cast stage. He does have a goal in the back here as well though, so if he places mining camp here, he could quick call around and secure some gold, at least from the scouts there. But Tiger knows that archers are going to be going forward as well, but the thing is, this is not going to be too easy for archers to hit. They have to loop all the way around and hit it from the other side if that's the case. Nice quick wall from Tiger here to save a weak scout. Axel immediately moving to the other side, trying to harass the eco as much as he can, and probably looking out a little bit to see if Tiger has moved to the other gold as well. It's 10 military against 9 now. As soon as Axel gets those archers forward as well, spearmen aren't going to get threat anymore. Axel needs to pay attention here. He has the archers, he could easily snipe his spear without taking damage to his scouts. Took some damage there, lost 1 scout, but it's still okay. KD is 11 to 11, or 10 to 11 rather, for Axel. I don't know what Tiger did to deserve this. Tiger finally clicking the castle age. He's going up with, yeah, nice split disposition between food and gold here. That suggests to me right into the camels for Tiger, maybe accompanied by some skirms. Camels not the best raiding unit, but if your opponent is going for stable units, your camels will obviously be great for Indians. They have a little bit of extra pierce armor as well, so they could easily contest feudal age archers. And it looks like Akkal-AOE is following suit. He's only a good 12-14% behind Tiger going up here. And the next fight is going to go down in Castle Age for sure. Both players with little military at the moment, 6 against 6. Aksel still not with the barracks though, so he could run into a struggle against Indian camels here. He would have archers, but archers don't have the same kind of mobility. I guess the spearmen don't either, but they have some extra damage. The map is Kilimanjaro. So it's like a huge hill in the middle with wood lines all over and everything. So you want to fight for the middle to have wood control for the late game. I was in the ranked pool a good half year ago or something. Military numbers dead even here. Aksel committing to the archers here, not really. None of them are producing anything at the moment actually. Are they going to go into full boom mode here? They seem to have pretty similar eco setup as well, but Tiger with more wood, so Tiger is going to afford the town centers. Aksel is likely not just yet. So another scout goes down for Akkal-AOE, but the archers are still here. Not going to go into any crossbows or anything here. It's going to be a Knights line follow-up. Why would you go Knights against Indians is my question here. It's double stable Knights production for Aksel. I mean, Castle Age, it's not the worst thing you could do, but for the long run to stay in Khmer Knights, they stop at Cavalier. I think Aksel might be thinking about the raiding potentially and to try and keeping Tiger at bay, but I still don't see Knights as the correct play against Indians with their ridiculously strong camels. Tiger, be like it would work against AFL, never change the winning strategy. Well, it's going to work against Aksel as well, as long as he commits to Knight. I hope that was not my famous lad's words, but why on earth would you go Knights against Indian camels? He has the defense upgrade though, but so does Tiger. And army numbers are very much in Tiger's favor here. Tiger even has bonus damage against buildings, being Indians with his camels. So this TC goes up though, is forced up by Aksel. That's going to be some safe haven here for villagers. Obstructing raiding potential a little bit here. Yeah, no army production whatsoever for Aksel now. Not so much for Tiger either. He seems to be a little bit in boom mode here. TCs and farms. Aksel runs in to take a peek. He has the +2 armor, so he can run through arrow fire from TCs for a while as well. Tiger is forward as well with 5 units scout and 4 camels here. No attack upgrade on the mounted units for any of the players here. Camels, suboptimal raiding unit, I would say, but he's still able to force idle time, obviously. Looking at the idle counter now, it's 12 to 2, so 12 idles for Aksel, only 2 for Tiger. Hubs, ARBs would be probably better, right? Yeah, I think so as well. And still, to this point, I think Aksel is going for the numbers here, but he still doesn't have a barracks at all. So he has no plans whatsoever to go into hubs or pikemen here in Castle Age. He's going to outnumber Tiger with knights. And maybe we're seeing a masterpiece in the making here. Maybe he just wants to go full Khmer crazy, soon to be 3TC eco here and mass more knights than Tiger can mass camels, but that's easier said than done against Indians. Tiger is with a 10 military lead overall here and is looking pretty great here. Khmer have arbalists and hubs, and finally the barracks for Aksel the Great. Going to get that pointy boy defense going for him. Pops into the houses yet again. It's if you had an idle time counter here, I'm pretty sure that Akkal the Great's idle counter would be pretty high, much higher than Tiger's. Akkal with more eco in the bank overall, though he is with fewer villagers, he may have been committing less to army since it's 5 against 60 military at this point. Still, just a couple of knights forward to annoy. These 3 stables could of course be used either for camels or whatever later, but yeah, slowly going towards the middle here as well. How's the eco already? Well, getting stone, nothing too significant here, so not going to see a castle drop anytime soon. Knights getting some value here, forcing some quick holds and trying to harass eco here, but will die to equal numbers of camels here, I believe. Both with the +1 attack as well now, but camels are a counter to knights, so they should be doing nicely here. Tiger with camels forward as well, could easily pick off these two, and Akkal with his only 8 military is going to struggle here until he can get his pointy boy numbers up here. Spearman going into pikeman. You should really stress that upgrade in my opinion, because that's one of the better things you could do against Indians. You could add a models tree and try to get some conversions in as well. So Camel's Tiger keeping Akkal's army numbers down is 20 to 8 now. Akkal going into the pikeman upgrade. Should be going full pike now. Here now is with 3 barracks. Could... yeah, probably shouldn't be dropping more just yet, but he's with 28 on 27 on food. It's going to go completely on the wood units here. Tiger has assumed the middles and controlling one of the neutral goals here now. And the overall resource overview shows Tiger with a little bit more resources, enough gold to click up to the village, missing quite a bit of food obviously. 15 camels now moving forward, numbers going to be dangerous if Tiger keeps them going, but he chooses to run in and try and raid again here, not really with any luck at this stage. He must have seen the barracks going up surely, so he will need to add more units of his own. Look at this Indian cavalry archers in the making, so he wants to go fully for the mobility here. You don't see cavalry archers that often for Indians, but absolutely a valid option, especially if you have the gold in the bank to support it. The current stats is 20 to 18 military, and now it's mainly pikes for Akkal. He's been wasting a lot of gold on knights that have been dying easily to camels. He still has gold access, obviously, but is finally committing to the spears play instead. Probably with Tiger's cavalry switch, Tiger will have a more mobile counter against the pikes as well, and it's beginning to look very good for Tiger here. Chasing a little bit of the pikes here. Tiger with some successful raids here though, is keeping the village numbers of Akkal low yet again, like in the first game here. 85 to 63 now overall. Candles running back to the TC. Tiger could garrison now and get some free pikeman kill here. Mangonels in the mix for Akkal the Great. He's going with pikes and mangonels here. Maybe wants to contest this TC in a bit, but the army numbers are worrying for Tiger now, because Akkal is with the numbers here. He's been successfully picking off camels that are proving to be not the most efficient raiding unit here after all. Cavalry archers, 4 stable, 4 range cavalry archers production for Tiger right now, getting these numbers up. And then pikes should be less of an issue. Mangonel more so though. Maybe Scorpions would have been a better option here for Akkal the Great to deal with the cavalry archers incoming. We're not sure if he was aware of the switch going on here. Yeah, committing to the mangonels. That's yeah, he wants to take out the TC of course as well. Uses some pikemen here maybe to just distract TC fire, I'm not sure. Or to try and chase villagers. Tiger is about to risk losing this TC in the middle, but is still with an 11, 12, 13 villagers lead and with the positive KD, so all in all not looking too bad. Now has 13 cav archers here ready to raid the woodlands of Akkal-AOE, making good use of the mobility of Indians here. And maybe also a bit of an unexpected switch for Indians to go into cav archers. Tiger seems to have been more eco to support his general production tab as well now, just now getting the eco upgrades for farms and wood chopping. Knights in the mix again for Aksel. Now the switch has been made, so Tiger doesn't really have any camels, significant camel numbers on the field anymore, so now it makes sense for Aksel to go for the Knights. That's also going to force Tiger potentially into some other kind of defense, since he's committing to cav archers now, might not commit to camels as well, could be going for the pikes instead here. Nice, or stops one TC from producing here though, making good use of the mobility of the cav archers again. Forward here, TC in the middle is down for Tiger though, he loses access to this neutral god in the middle here. If Aksel TCs this spot, he could also take over the farms and get some free food income here. Villager count is catching up for Axel as well, but Tiger's cavalry archer numbers are contesting the knights that Axel brings to the field here now. He needs to keep his army together, I think, to hunt these cavalry archers. And there's another group here, but they are very much in danger of a mangonel hit here if Axel sees it. Oh, great shots! Weakens quite a few of them, but overall more than 20 plus 27 cav archers here for Tiger. Getting closer to the crucial numbers for cav archers to be on Tiger. Going for the extended castle age here, same as Axel. Probably they have to invest in army, both of them, not so as not to lose their momentum. Tiger losing the TC middle, drops one here instead. And overall stone count for Tiger is very low. Axel looks like he's about to go for a castle drop somewhere to fortify his economic or military advantage. Ballistics is in for Tiger as well, so it's getting one of the last few necessary upgrades for cav archers. I think he didn't dodge that mangonel shot completely, but focuses down to 2 mangonels here now, doing great work at that. This game is super close, says Ant-Man. Yeah. Tiger probably so stressed now. Yeah. Making Tiger work for the money here is... He was probably confident at the point where Axel went fully into Knights in the early castle age against Indian camels here, but the Knight switch worked out for a moment. Now Tiger is forced to go camels again, and it's going to take its toll on Tiger's eco because he's with 14 gold miners. But he's also spending gold on both cavalry archers and camels, and won't have a crucial mass of either from the looks of it here. He's still keeping decent numbers, so it's probably roughly 30 cav archers here. Let's look at this, 26 cav archer, cavalry 8, that should be the camels. Strong combo with cavalry archers and camels, strong but expensive. And let's toggle Axel's point of view as well and see what his composition is like. He's with 12 cavalry, 11 infantry and siege units, so Axel should have spent significantly less on everything. He should also be the first player going to Imp here, I think, because he did go trash for a good while, as opposed to Tiger's gold heavy compositions here. So now looking dangerously close to the Imperialist click for the Khmer player here. Scores pretty even, Tiger with more kills. That's probably what's making the difference here. It's a 1200 difference, but that can be deceiving. Nice dodge again, nice cav archer Michael from Tiger. Axel with going to click up now, I think. No, he's investing more into army actually. So he probably realizes that it's not the time just yet. He's only with 18, 17 military here. Some knights, but then there are camels from Tiger trying to chase the cav archers with knights, but they take a choke point. Imagine having a scorpion or mangonel or something here, and the mangonel is in the mix here. It's not going to reach here in time though, but if it had been ready, this could have been a huge shot for Axel here. That might have been his plan. Axel has found some gold in the north as well, so he has access. Looking at the tabs here, Tiger though with lots of gold, but missing the food for Imperial Age click, so Tiger is going to be behind up until the Imperial Age. Mangonel goes down for nothing here, as Axel the Great has a significant lead to going into the Imperial Age. from the looks of it now. Tiger 37 on food, but has to invest into army, has to commit to the castle age for a while longer. Could potentially use the market to buy some food to get closer to the actual click, but is now going even into light cab here, probably for the raids now to try and punish the Khmer eco a bit more. Khmer could drop farms literally anywhere, so their ecos would be more subject to raids from Sims with that kind of mobility like light cab or eagles later on. But now look at the elephant switch finally from Akkal the Great here. Pretty expensive as well, but he's now with 40 on gold, 40 on food, 30 on gold, and could easily sustain production out of multiple stables with elephants here now. Now, Indian camels should do okay against elephants. They do okay against the Castle Age ones as well. If Tiger can somehow get to the Imperial Age and heavy camels, then the situation is different. He should be able to challenge them even more easily. But Tiger still not kicked up to the next age. He is missing some food still. Has a lot of gold, fortunately. But Hizuka looks slightly imbalanced now. Cab archers won't do nearly as much against elephants as they do against knights. Camels trying to chase here, but with the defense and attack upgrades, it's no joke to try to kill elephants here. So I like the elephant addition from Akkal, who is just about to reach Imperial Age. And mixing in some knights and pikemen here as well. Catches up on military numbers yet again, now in the military lead for Akkal. Population quite the same for both players here. 120 villagers for each player, nothing to point out there, except the fact that Tiger is in the Castle Age, committing to Castle Age camels, going into pikemen now against the camels, I assume. And some small raids going on here for actually send some knights over, and then it's dividing Tiger's attention from the fights in the middle. Lots of things to handle for Tiger at once here now, but look at the disposition across the map here. It's red on one side and blue on the other, and they're basically sharing the map and the resources now with Akkal, with the more of the upper hand with the neutral resources here. He doesn't know the location of this one though. Tiger might have scouted that. Now both of them missing that neutral gold to the far side of the edge there. Pikemen need to back away from the Cav Archers again here, and now camel numbers increasing for Tiger again, but look at this, he still needs to get to the Imperial Age, and well, has the gold to spend that, but he probably wants to save the gold for army. I think he feels he needs army presence still now with 40 military. So much back and forth here. Tiger did deal with the elephants, going for the few elephants. That did tank quite a bit of Cav Archers shots here, but army compositions are so different here. I think with this amount of gold not being spent, it's a sign about Tiger being a little bit stressed about the situation here. Could use the market, could adjust it somehow, could justify going into much more Cav Archers here as well with wood and gold income here. But population is still super close here. Tiger with much more military, but that's also some light cav in the mix to raid. This would be some place to raid maybe, even though it's right next to the castle, but it's going in for the farm area. This is super exposed. And Tiger doesn't know that there's neutral resources in the corner here, otherwise he will probably consider that. No houses nearby for Akkal either, so he doesn't have an easy way to hop into houses to hide here. Let's look at the market prices here. If Tiger could easily sell... Well, it's pretty expensive to buy food actually, so it's not going to be too easy for Tiger. He's pretty stubborn here, probably wants to earn the food to click up here, just wanted to get up to 1000. He seems to have spent some more gold either on units or market abuse as well, but castles are up for Akkal the Great. Some raids here and there. He's really spreading out. He's with Hussar now. And Tiger now going full YOLO with camels and Cav Archers here, just like he did against AR-12. As I don't get how Tiger's not imp, and I agree, he has had the gold for so long and committed into light cav. Why not just go for that later on instead and save that food, get to imp, and then go for the army again. Tiger was down in military for a while. He is with the army lead now overall. He's handling the forwards of Akkal nicely still. He's now with the massive military numbers lead here and 50 population lead, as well as the villager count are evening out, and Akkal is placing some defensive structures here. Tiger with camels over here to raid as well, but Tiger is committing to the full castle edge here. He just doesn't want to click that Imperial. Takes out one TC, has actually missing the +2 upgrade on the camels even, but he has the full defense. He will deny this castle, I think, and really committing to the full castle age masterpiece here against the Khmer player who has been in for the last almost 20 minutes already. Incredible from Tiger playing this open map with Indians 1v1, not the most popular 1v1 save. Tiger neglecting still to see that there's some resources being taken in the corner here though. This could actually be walled off by Akkal to secure it, since Tiger still hasn't hit it. Castle goes up though, no murder holes, so the camels could still deal some damage to the castle here. It's taking damage surprisingly rapidly here. Tiger with 32 on gold, 32 on food, 10 on gold now, but he's subject to Hussar raids as well, needs to spread his armies out here and there. Now finally found the neutral gold to the side here, so he's going to secure some gold for himself, and this game looks like it's going to get to the point where there are barely any golds and stones left on the map. Just a little bit of gold here, 400 gold maybe for Axel the Great. Middle gold is still up from grabs here, but you can barely even see that on the minimap. They know it's there though, because there have been TC spots there, but maybe both players expect that to be depleted. Both players now going into the trash play here. Light cab still for Tiger. He is stuck in the castle age, won't ever get to the Imperial at this rate, I think. So he's going to fight Imperial Age with castle age units here, even lacking the last upgrade for the camels. And Axel calls the GG. I mean, I know Tiger's castle age, but Tiger has so much more army overall, and Axel is down to 67 population, and how... Wow. Full castle age all in from Tiger here, denying or delaying castles, raiding the appropriate resources. Let's look at Axel's resources here. Is with food and wood and gold, but couldn't really exploit the Imperial Age to the full potential here, even with consistent income. Tiger flooding army, making life tough for his opponent, and also extending to the resources. So maybe we would have seen Tiger reach Imperial Age finally, but he goes for the full cast age here and does so with success. Fending off raids and denying every incredible play from both players here, but it's Tiger closing off the set with 2-1 for this one. So it looks like an overall solid eco for Tiger. It did idle Axel a lot early on with the house foundations and everything, so the general foundation for the economic income was obstructed. Largest RB 77 to 36 here. Tiger keeping the numbers high at the right moment and spreading out accordingly to make the eco advantage smaller and smaller, or rather the Imperial advantage smaller and smaller for Axel the Great here. KD in Tiger's favor as well, with that huge chunk of army everywhere. And yeah, food, gold, stone. Such an even game. Great game for both players here. Uptimes pretty similar. Tiger ridiculously early fuel age with the Indians, but pulled off the scouts rush there with good results. Axel's maybe a bit overconfident with going straight for the stables in the fuel age. No barracks until minute 25 or so for Axel, so that made his defense a bit more awkward, I believe, but he was trusting on the garrison inside houses and yeah, getting to the eco, the boom Oakmare later on. So timeline here is pretty interesting. It's a huge spike. It's in army numbers here, up and down for both players, but in the end, Tiger with this gap just getting larger and larger. Wow, GG, well played.